James Comey's indictment will be dismissed. James Comey will be acquitted of this later charge. If it survives a motion to dismiss, which it won't, then a jury will acquit him. He is not guilty of what they charged him with. He is a bad man, a crook, part of the deep state. And it kills me to say this, but I want you to understand. I don't want you to listen carefully. I don't want you to send this to your friends, because I'm going to tell you why this is. And you're going to listen to me, and you're not going to intercede or intervene or interject, I should say, with what a bad guy he is. You're right. He's a bad guy. Believe me. But you have to look at what he was charged with. It doesn't matter what you think he did, what I think he did, what he did to other people, how a part of the deep state he is. That doesn't matter. Everybody in our country deserves to be treated fairly. I know. Why should we do that? Nobody was fair to Trump. You're right about that. Why should I give a damn about that? I'm with you on that. But if you believe in the Constitution and believe in what we're saying, this you will agree with. Now, let me explain this to you first and foremost. We're going to do this in no particular order. Again, it kills me to say this, but I'm going to say it because I want you to know what's going on. And I want you to be able to tell your friends this. So you'll be real smart, okay? Real smart. This is the problem. The vindictive indictment the Trump Justice Department, barely managed to get to a grand jury to approve on Thursday is so bad, so incompetently, poorly drafted, that if he doesn't get it thrown out on a motion to dismiss, I'll be surprised. I mean, he'll be entitled to that. And it won't, it would, in essence, derail this very expensive and extremely unfair litigation process, which I granted, nobody cared about Trump. I understand that. I get that. So I'm with you on that. So if you say, look, it doesn't matter what they did to Trump, okay, fine. Listen, I don't blame you for saying that. I don't mind you, but that's not the way it works. The case also has been randomly assigned to a Biden appointee in the Eastern District of Virginia, Judge Michael Nachmanoff. That sounds like a pun. If Judge Nachmanoff throws the case out before that, Trump and all of us will go, well, you'll go crazy. Well, they'll go crazy. They will scream and howl that the fix was in. You don't understand it, aha. So as ridiculous as going to a trial would be, Comey and the court may actually benefit for full vindication with a rather rapid jury acquittal. Now, that's not going to make any difference. Theoretically, it makes a difference. But technically, it will be. Now, this is going to be tough. This case is so easy. When I first heard about this case, Thursday or Friday, I thought, hey, this is great. This is wonderful. Then I couldn't read the indictment. I couldn't read it. Like most people, I said, well, it's obviously because he lied. He lied before Congress. And we kind of sort of said, well, he lied. And I just assumed he lied, and that was it. That was the end of it, right? That's what I thought. That's what you thought. We knew he lied about something, but the question is, it's not whether I think he lied about it. It's, did somebody claim he lied? Did somebody allege he lied, and how he lied? Let me tell you something. Perjury, in essence, is a tough sell. You've got to deliberately, knowingly, and intelligently lie about something, mislead. You can't just make an error. It's tougher than you think. But I thought, for sure, they've got this. Now, I want you to sit back. And I want you to listen to this. I'm going to take you through it step by step. Again, you're going to want to send this to your friends and let them see what I'm saying. I'm not saying this because I like it. I'm telling you the way it is. But before we begin, we already have begun. Preparewithlionel.com, my friends. This is something which I have been talking to you about. Because as you know, and Alex, our good friend Alex Jones, has been saying this, there's something very, very frightening going on. I don't know what it is. If I were to say to you, civil war, false flags and strikes, and supply chain collapses, and domestic terrorism, or lockdowns, or freakouts, or space outs, or blackouts, or BLM and EMP and Antifa attacks and riots and insurrections, sedition, shall I go on? This is not something that's theoretically possible. We're waiting for it. It's today's reality. And they've got something planned. They do. The systems that we always thought and trusted to be there, nope. They're crumbling by design, on time. If you had to go 1 week without food, 1 week, you'd learn fast. I don't want you to go through that. And your cash and your cars and your Bitcoin and even gold won't feed your family. Not even diamonds, platinum, nothing. Survival isn't theory. It's primal, primordial, primeval, instinctual, evolutionary, atavistic. It's hardwired. Food, water, energy, ammo, that's it. And that's the name of the game. And that's why My Patriot Supplies 3-month food kit matters. Over 2,000 calories a day, 22 meal varieties, a shelf life of up to 25 years. Right now, you get 4 weeks free, a $247 bonus. My friend, the world has changed. Hunger is the oldest weapon of control. Don't wait for disaster to prove it. Preparation isn't paranoia, it's survival. Click the link in the description, preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. Secure your food, protect your family, and secure your future. Now while there's time. No one will force you to do this. Nobody. Reality will. Preparewithlionel.com. All right, my friends. Now let me see. Am I frozen here? Let me see if I'm frozen. Okay, there we are. I'm all right. Let me move this out of the way. Making my stuff ready. We had Mrs. Ellen and I had a very nice evening tonight. Went out with some friends in Upper East Side, and we had a very good time. Very good eve. And I'm here with you, and I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad you could be a part of it. And I thank you. Make sure you like this video and subscribe and all that other kind of stuff. All right, let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? First and foremost, as I've told you, as Uncle Lionel has told you since the beginning, I've told you repeatedly, the thing you have to do is always read the indictment. Always read the charging document. If you get a speeding ticket, if you get anything, make sure you read what it is that they say you did. Make sure you write down, you look and see what it is that they say you did. That is critical. Can't say it enough, because you may think you know what it is, but you don't. Okay? Trust me on this one. Now, like I said, when the indictment first was announced, I said, oh, great, this is good. He obviously lied to somebody. And this is the guy, by the way, who put the shells out. Remember that 86-47? Remember 86, the 47th president? We knew what he was doing. This guy's no good. Remember when he read the indictment regarding Hillary Clinton? Remember that one to the whole world? This guy, nobody likes him. Even Joy Behar doesn't like him because of what he did to Hillary Clinton. I mean, this guy, I can't figure this dude out, okay? But this is a different story. Let's go through this very carefully. Because remember, what did he lie about? When did he lie about? What did he say? And how are you going to prove it? Now, it has been widely announced and reported that the perjury charge that old Comey is looking at, that was approved, as opposed to the one that the grand jury voted down. Because remember, there was some charges, at least one, where they said, no true bill, meaning no indictment. This particular charge deals with Comey's involvement as FBI director with his then deputy director. That makes sense to you? Let me see something right here. Am I choppy to you, my friends? Am I trying? Let me know if I'm choppy. Melbourne's here. Oh, look at this. No, it will not be thrown out because justice is here Now Trump is not going to allow it. Oh, dear friends. Dear friends. Hang on a minute. Let me see something here. Why is this so choppy? I'm gonna try. My friends, this is weird. Very weird tonight. Sometimes sometimes very choppy. Some nights it's better. I don't know. I hope that's a little bit better. Hope that's better. Let me see. I'm gonna get rid of this and see if this. No, whatever. I think it's better. Anyway, we'll give it a shot. At any event, where was I? Ah, yes. This particular case deals with Andrew McCabe. Remember him? He was the then deputy director, okay? And this dealt with a leak, an alleged leak to the Wall Street Journal that dealt with the FBI's Clinton Foundation investigation. Remember this one? Okay. Now, we have to talk about what's in the indictment and what's the background rather than just kind of reading the indictment itself, because the charge is so poorly crafted and so poorly written that it's not exactly clear what Comey is alleged to be lying about. We're not really sure, and that's not a good sign. When we don't know what he's talking about, that's not good. Okay, the indictment does not mention McCabe or Hillary Clinton. They don't. Those are referred to as someone else at the FBI, quote unquote, and person one, okay? And that's kind of par for the course, since, McCabe and Hillary are not charged in the case, but they're participants in it, and you have to refer to them to understand what's going on. So that's what that is. If you read the indictment, and you can read the indictment online, it's pretty straightforward. Now, what's also missing for us is any detailed explanation or description of the actual incident, the event involving Andrew McCabe, Hillary Clinton, and Comey that this supposedly stems from. Now, count one says, listen to this, that Comey made a materially false statement in a Senate Judiciary Committee with testimony he was giving on September the 30th, 2020. That's why the 5-year statute of limitations would have run this week. They said by falsely stating to a U.S. senator, okay, this is what they said, that he had not, quote, authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reporting regarding an FBI investigation concerning person one. Let me say that again. This is critical. It's kind of boring. They charged him. They said that Comey made a materially false statement. He basically lied by falsely stating to, I think there was Lindsey Graham was one senator, and then I think it was Lindsey Graham at first and then Cruz second, but that he, Comey, had not, listen to me, authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports regarding an FBI investigation concerning person one, which is Hillary Clinton. You got that? He authorized it. He authorized it, but then he said, I didn't authorize it, so that is it. You follow this? That's it. That's it. Let me say it again. I want you to understand this, and I want you to listen to me. And I want you fine folks to stop talking and listen to me. If you really want to understand this, we'll do all the commentary later. Do you understand? Just tell me yes or no. Tell me you understand that that's what it is. That they're saying that Comey said, I never authorized that when he did. You got it? Good. All of this apparently refers to a leak that McCabe admitted that he made and admitted that he ordered his special assistant. Remember Lisa Page? He's ordered her to provide to this fellow named Devlin Barrett, who was a reporter at the Wall Street Journal. I think he's at the New York Times now. The leak happened about a week before the 2016 election, and the idea was to provide some kind of a rebuttal to the notion and to the reporting that had suggested that the FBI was going easy on Clinton. You got this? You got this? This is the background. So McCabe tells Page, I want you to go and leak this. They think we're going easy on Hillary. I want you to talk about this. So Barrett was told about this debate, this argument, conversation, whatever it is, between McCabe and a top Obama Justice Department official by the name of Matthew Axelrod. Okay? That involved McCabe, who, by the way, fought pressure back from the Obama DOJ to kill the investigation regarding the Clinton Foundation. So what they were trying to do this by making this leak up, McCabe caused the FBI, in essence, to acknowledge the existence of that investigation, which was against the rules, and which, by the way, Comey himself said, I'm not going to do this, even in prior congressional testimony. So it doesn't matter what it was. He wanted to show, listen, these people think we're going soft on her, and I want you, Lisa, to leak this to this guy from the Wall Street Journal and tell him about the hell that I went through, about how they were getting mad at us and told us that we're being too aggressive to cover our ass, to create the illusion that we're really going hard against Hillary Clinton. Don't make any sense to you? Now, whether you understand this or not, it doesn't matter. The question is, Comey did not authorize this. Authorize this. Authorize comes first. If I authorize you to drive my car, you go, it's a stretch. I'm giving you advanced permission to drive it. See? If you've already driven it and then tell me about it, well, I guess I can say, okay, that was all right, or I wish you hadn't told me. But this is what this comes down to. Now, this deals with, remember Michael Horowitz? This was the Justice Department's IG, or Inspector General. And he issued this report. This should have gotten McCabe indicted or fired, obviously, just because of this. This alone was serious, big time stuff. And let me see, it works like this. Interesting. I'm learning about that. I'm learning something about my. I'm learning something here. Let me see something. Okay, I guess it's working. Okay. I'm sorry for this. I apologize. Sometimes at night when all this stuff gets jammed up. Let me see if I can tell you the story. See if this makes any sense to you. This Horowitz, who was the Inspector General, was dealing with McCabe. And he said basically that McCabe should have been indicted, should have been fired, should have been whatever, that he was a bad guy. Now, put all of this aside for just a second. Regarding this business about McCabe, whom the perjury case really against Comey hinges on. Okay? Number one, he's not a credible evidence or a witness. He's the worst. And especially when it comes to this subject. Put all that aside, okay? Okay? Put all that aside. Horowitz found that Comey's account that he did not approve the leak was overwhelmingly corroborated, while McCabe's allegation was full of holes and he was full of shit. Even notwithstanding that, the indictment fails to state, in essence, a cause of action or a case, because McCabe never even claimed that Comey authorized the leak, as that term is understood. The person responsible for much of this confusion is no one other than Ted Cruz. Now, let me stop right now. And I'm going to say this because I want you to be able to tell your friends this. They are alleging that Comey authorized McCabe to provide this leak. Doesn't matter whether the leak was legal, whether the leak was important, doesn't matter. He never authorized it. And when they asked him later, did you authorize that? He said no. And as you'll find out right now, Ted Cruz said at one particular point, oh, so is McCabe lying? And Comey said, I can't speak for him. I'm telling you what I told you is the truth. Namely, I did not authorize this. Okay, so Ted Cruz, he interjected when he was doing this questioning, he interjected and used the word authorized in the questioning of Comey. And you saw this the other day. I'm going to read this to you. Okay? This is what Ted Cruz says. And that's why this may seem a bit stiff, but in cases like this, what is said is critical. Just like in Charlie Kirk and his assassination, bullet angle, witnesses is critical. In the case of Epstein, forensic evidence is critical. This is Ted Cruz. Quote, here's his quote. On May the 3rd, 2017, in this committee, Chairman Chuck Grassley, asked you point blank, quote, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation? You responded under oath, this is Ted Cruz, never. He then asked you, have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation? You responded again under oath, no. Well, this is Ted Cruz. Now, as you know, Mr. McCabe, who works for you, has publicly and repeatedly said that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and that you were directly aware of it and you directly authorized this. This is what Ted Cruz said. Now, what Mr. McCabe is saying and what you testified to this committee cannot both be true. One or the other is false. Who's telling the truth? Here's Comey. Comey says, I can only speak to my testimony. I stand by the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017. Cruz then says, so your testimony is you've never authorized anyone to leak. Let me say this again. Listen to what I'm saying. So your testimony is that you've never authorized anyone to leak. And Mr. McCabe, if he says contrary, is not telling the truth. Is that correct? Comey. Again, I'm not going to characterize Andy's testimony, but mine is the same today. Are you following this? He just pulled this out of his ass. Cruz acknowledged and knew about it. And wait a minute, no. Now, That has nothing to do with this case, because the actual, unless they append to this somehow, because the actual testimony that is the subject of the perjury was before. Now, in this context, to authorize something, we all know what that means. It means that a person gave permission for somebody to do something or some course of action. I give you permission. I authorize. It is okay. I am your boss, Andy, and I give you the authority to leak this thing. McCabe, as you know, doesn't claim to have asked Comey for permission. He didn't ask Comey to leak the information to the Wall Street Journal. No. In fact, nobody thinks that McCabe's testimony is credible in the first place, and neither did the IG Horowitz, who found that he was basically unbelievable, dishonest. But the point is that Andy McCabe never claimed what Cruz says he claimed. Andy McCabe, who had his own authority as, I guess, deputy director to order somebody like Page to disseminate a leak or whatever it is, he said, he asserted, he claimed that he himself directed the leak and then told Comey about it after the fact. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time. We can go back and look at the testimony of Strzok and Horowitz. You can do that. The thing you've got to understand, the most important thing, McCabe said that he did not recall telling Comey prior to publication of the October 30th article that he intended to authorize or had authorized this special counsel Page or whatever to do this. The bottom line is simply this. It is very simple. He didn't do what they claim he did. Might have done a lot of other stuff. Might be a bad dude. Very, very slowly. I have an article on this coming out tomorrow. Please sign up for the newsletter. But I'm going to tell you again. He never said that he authorized. He never denied authorizing. I think it's never happened. And this was Cruz bringing this up. Now, this kills me to say this, because I, like you, despise Comey. Despise him. I despise what they did to the president. I despise what they did. I absolutely, positively despise the lawfare that he had to go through. But I'm going to tell you something right now, and I told you this the other day, and I want you to listen to me. Sometimes I'll tell you stuff, and you may not like this. But this interim U.S. Attorney, Lindsay Halligan, I think he picks people that he thinks are maybe hot or something. She was some beauty queen or contestant. She doesn't have enough experience to be the United States Attorney for Virginia. Is he crazy? He did this with Alina Habba. And so far, Judge Janine had a hell of a time getting what? How many? I forget how many indictments. Look, these people are great, and they're great hosts, and they might be terrific in their life, and they might be loyal to President Trump, but he has absolute taste for shit when he picks people to do very, very important things. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, go down the list. I'm sorry. I know Judge Janine's a great person. I know he likes Alina Habba. I know they were great private attorneys. Some turned out to be very, very good. He picks, remember, this guy picked Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. We're on the brink of World War III, and you've got Marco Rubio. He's got Witkoff and Lutnick doing all the heavy lifting. I don't know if the president, I don't know if I think he just likes people he likes. Pete Hegseth doing God knows what by inviting or ordering everybody in the military together. But I'm telling you, they're going to dismiss this case. They have to dismiss the case if it was you or anybody else. They cannot prove that Comey lied when he said, I didn't authorize anybody, because he didn't authorize anybody. He wasn't lying. He might be a lot of things, but why did they pick this? Why? I don't know. We can't be in the position where we look the other way when somebody gets stuck with us, when somebody gets jammed up and we don't like. That's the part which is really, really tough. And it's something which is really hard for people to understand, because I know how upset you are, and I know how unfair it is, and I know how these people do the worst things possible, how they are absolutely positively horrible the way they've treated this president. He has been the victim of lawfare since day one. And I know if I ask you this, I know what you're going to say, not because you're a bad person, but because you're just a regular person and you're upset. You're going to say very frankly, I don't give a damn about any of this. I don't care about any of this. I don't care about whether this is fair or not. Let Comey go through the pain. Let him go through what General Flynn did. Let him go through what Roger Stone did, right? This is what people say. And you know what? And I could understand that, but we don't work like that. And then sometimes when I tell you something, I want you to make sure that just because you like them, you know who I'm really getting? I mentioned this the other day to you. I'm getting very, very, and we'll talk about this later, but I'm getting very, very suspect or suspicious. Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow. People say, how can you say that? Are you paying attention to what's going on? No, people aren't, because they're caught up in the moment. They're caught up in the moment. Are you seeing all this fundraising? This is almost tawdry. What do you think about what do you think about Charlie's replacement? What do you think about him? This new guy, this new kid, whatever it is. You like this? This makes sense to you? It's okay to question this. When I asked somebody, I said, Judge Jeanine, I love Judge Jeanine. Okay. I think she's a great person. But is she equipped to be the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia? Alina Habba might have been great at the courtroom level, but she's not ready to be the. By the way, she was eventually. I'm not sure if they're going to bring her back or whatever they're going to do. Trump has these things where he likes people, I think, because they've been on TV. I think he likes people, and I think he loves anybody in a beauty contest. By the way, this Lindsay Halligan and Erica Kirk, I think they appeared together in some Miss something or other. I don't know what it is. If you're going to charge these people, we have to win. And I know, like you, I said, ooh, I'm so excited. And I reacted. And I couldn't read the indictment. It wasn't available. But it sounded good to me, and I was happy. They said, we're going after more people. Turd Ferguson, by the way. Turd Ferguson says, do you think this was being slow-walked by swamp insiders and there will be a superseding indictment because of the statute of limitation? I do not know. That's very interesting. If they do a superseding indictment, they need another charge, not something which supplements or something which tacks on to this. They need a new charge with a new person. I don't know what to think. I don't know who's running the show. Trump cannot order. Biden cannot. No president should be able to order a U.S. attorney to act accordingly. I want you to indict him. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that because, first of all, it's unconstitutional. It's wrong. We're better than that. But also, more importantly, it's critical because you're going to get the wrong result every single time. This is the most important thing in the world. And I know there's some people who say, it doesn't matter. The third party mentioned, Castor, is Andrew McCabe and Hillary Clinton. They were investigating Hillary Clinton. Remember when Comey was reading when he declined to prosecute the Hillary Clinton. They read all of this stuff that Hillary apparently did. And I even said that you can't do that, even if it's Hillary Clinton. I'm never going to be one of these people who says, who cares? I don't care. Doesn't matter. Hillary Clinton's a bad person and that's it. And I don't care. And payback is hell. And they didn't care about Trump. I just want to see a perp walk and a mugshot. Okay, fine. What about the system? The hell with the system. I don't care about the system. Can't be like that. That's it. Sorry. I've said things before in the past. Diddy's the most important. Diddy, I talked about when I was, I said they're going to find him not guilty. And I was on with our friend Natalie and Clayton on Redacted, told them they're going to find him not guilty. Got that right. It's not that I got it right. I just know they charged him with the wrong thing. Let me ask you something. If Adolf Hitler, the worst human being, perhaps in recorded history, right? You can argue that all you want. Let's say he's on trial. And instead of charging him, the worst human, the most vile, inhumane person ever, instead of charging him with whatever it was that we're doing, what if instead of that, he was charged with arson? Arson. What would you do? Would you say, I don't care? It's Adolf Hitler. Find him guilty. Why? You can't let him walk. Is that what you would do? I know you probably say, and I wouldn't blame you, but we don't do that. You don't charge somebody or find somebody guilty of something just because you don't like them. For some reason, they thought they were going to get this idea. They thought that Comey actually authorized McCabe, knew about it ahead of time, knew about it, authorized it, and then when they asked him, "Did you authorize it?" he said, "No," and they thought that was the perjury. Wrong. No. And then when Cruz just gums up the work by interjecting, insinuating this acknowledge, it's like, no, that's... When you look at this, it's like, oh no. The Casey Anthony case, I said years ago, I said it specifically, I said, this is what happens. The Casey Anthony case, I said, she's going to be found not guilty because of the fact that they only found the skull and they couldn't even prove homicide. Remember the Trayvon Martin case? I said, George Zimmerman, I said, they're going to find him not guilty because of the stand your ground case. OJ, I'm not prescient. I'm looking at the evidence, look at the rules, and that's it. So I'm telling you, this is something. This is something which is critical to understand. Somebody says, then why are we even watching? What does that mean? I look up sometimes, I look at what you say and I realize, what does that mean? Have you not heard a word I've said? Okay? You don't, I know the statute of limitations was closing down or about to expire. They couldn't toll it. But what are you going to do? Make something up? See, if I were Trump, I'd say, whatever you do, you make sure it works. Don't. It hurts more to have a case dismissed. Oh my God. Don't do to him what they did to General Flynn. Don't do to him what they did to Roger Stone. These process crimes. It's just ridiculous. Period. So that's that, my friend. So that's it. Castor says, you don't think someone is spilling the beans on Comey? Huh? No. I don't know what that means. No. So does everybody understand now why the indictment will be thrown out? Do you understand this? So that when you talk about tomorrow, when somebody comes up to you and says, hey, what do you think is going to happen? So they're going to dismiss it. They're going to dismiss the indictment. Or if they're crazy enough to go to trial, a jury will acquit them. Either a pretrial dismissal or whatever. Everybody get this? Superseding indictments, they better have something completely different. And a superseding indictment is not to be able to say, hey, look, I charge him with arson. Well, this doesn't work. They had time for this. They had time. I don't know what they were doing. So everybody gets it, right? Everybody gets it? Everybody grabs it? That's it? Good? Because it's a Saturday night. I want to make sure I speak to you about this. I'll make sure you get it. Make sure you understand it. We're going to be talking about this again. Fire Bondi. I don't know if it's Bondi. I hate it. Look, she is ultimately, it's her watch. So she has to be able to say something about it. But the bottom line is simply this, my friends. This is horrible. And every time they do everything, they're going to say, oh, it makes Trump look like a rube. Did you see this week when he told Zelensky, you could probably go back and reclaim that, get that land back. So, you go ahead and do that. And hey, all the best to you there, Zell. All the best to you. What? Remember this? What? And don't forget, you've got the judge, the Biden appointee, who's a very good judge, by the way, who can't wait to say anything I can do because they have a legitimate claim. This is no good. What did you think of Bibi Netanyahu? Did you see Bibi at the UN? Does Trump have any idea what that's going on? Does he know what's going on with that? Do you think all those people are anti-Semitic? The world is anti-Semitic? Is that what you think? Is that what you believe? Is that what they believe? They said, well, there was some clapping. That was the Israeli delegation. Did you see this? Did you see what's going on here? Does Trump understand what's happening? I don't know. I honest to God don't know. I don't understand this. You mean to tell me, and by the way, why didn't they charge Hillary Clinton? This was Comey. And why did they announce why they weren't charging Hillary? Look, I'm not speaking up for Hillary, but if you're not going to charge her, don't charge her. Comey went through and listed everything. And don't forget, too, 8647. In that shell design, this is a pusillanimous little twit who's upset over the fact that his daughter was shit-canned from the Southern District. So that's it, my friend. That's it. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the latest of finding out. Oh, my God, read the Larry Ellison case. Oh, my God, read the Larry Ellison stuff, which is so frightening. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about a lot of other stuff, which is so critical, so important, so poignant, so absolutely necessary for you to be made aware of. But I wanted to make sure I jumped on tonight. Mrs. L and I had a very nice evening supping and having an evening with friends. I thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've all been terrific. Thank you. And for our Fred Turd Ferguson, thank you, Turd. Thank you for your kindness. We appreciate that immensely. Okay, you got it? Good. All right, my friends, until tomorrow, don't forget to follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Don't forget the other channel we have is Lionel Legal. And don't forget to make sure you like these videos, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos right now. I tell you right now. At Lionel Nation. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious night. See you mañana. Don't forget, as we normally say, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Dad.